Are you a hockey fan? Love collecting memorabilia from your favorite players and teams? Then it's time to join 506 Breaks. Every week, we bring you exciting events packed with signed jerseys, pucks, picks, high-end cards, and more. From Montreal Monday to Toronto Tuesday, or the new Rising Stars event, there's always something for everyone. And for just $5, you can score big in our $5 Headliners event. Feeling lucky? Don't miss our fan favorite, Sunday Fun Day, every Sunday evening. All of this run by the man behind the magic, Stu, the place to be for hockey collectors. Join the 506 Breaks community today, where every event is a winning shot.
And I can't wait for golf season. Haul out the 1 wood, 3 wood, the 5 wood, the wedge wood, the black wood.
Canada could have went with the 2 wood, but no woods. Well, folks, you probably know why we're here on a what's today? Friday? I went to work today. And I was like, all day I thought it was Monday. I could not get out of my head that it was Monday. And I was like, did I take the garbage out? Like, I'll work on that tomorrow. And I'm like, this is Friday. This is Friday.
Yeah. I'm all sorts of mixed up. So
yeah. So coming out of the holiday break. So yeah, we're recording a little early because we've got the 4 big Olympic teams come out with their rosters now. So we figured we'd jump on and talk about it. And so grab your comfiest chair with the biggest possible arms and be armchair GMs with us. The funnest thing about being a hockey fan is sitting here like we've got all the answers and we can critique everybody with no repercussions. So it's great. Right?
Yeah, I'm assuming you'd like to go over Canada first.
I thought we would do Italy first. But
do the home country. Ladislav Tretiak playing goal there.
Yeah. I'm people would get that if they listened to the other one. I was surprised, but not like floored shocked at Canada with some omissions. The internet seemed very shocked about, I mean, we'll go over this, I guess, in a second, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. The internet seemed very, very, very shocked over Connor Bedard. I wasn't as shocked. I was far more shocked over Bennett than I was Bedard. But then the US's roster came out this morning. And that like, I was like, what the heck? On like 4, 5, 6 different counts of different players that I just thought, and a couple of them I thought were shoo-ins. So I don't know where you'd like to start talking about this.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking about this too. And I think we should start. My guess is if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably had a look at all of the rosters. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to go through and list everybody who made it. You can look that up. You've probably already seen it. So I thought we start with Canada, US. And I was, so what's the biggest shock here? What's the biggest snub between these two teams? What do you guys think is
out of both of them?
Yeah, like which one would you say for both? Like which one takes the cake as like the biggest?
Jason Robertson. Blew my mind. Like I was floored.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, like second to me would be Sam Bennett. Like not only like anyway, and we can go on about Doug Armstrong here in a second, but like I agree with him 95% of the time, but I did some of the comments he made, I don't think he realized he was like double talking himself with Team Canada. But
Yep.
Jason, like the stats on Jason Robertson, it's not like, I mean, we all heard the Bill Guerin comment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where he said, well, we're putting together a team. And if it all just went by who had the most points, we wouldn't need a GM now, would we? We got to put together a team with players in certain roles.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but at some point, those players in certain roles, would you not like for your four lines, would you not want the first place scorer in the league that is American, or the second, or the third, and then run with that and build everything else around that? Would that not be your
hot take alert?
That's just, but you know what I mean. Like maybe I'm completely wrong, and he does. Like I'd love to have been in the room and heard the justification for everything. But I sent you guys a stat today, and this isn't mine. Someone else posted, but like among American skaters available, Jason Robertson was first in shots taken. He's first tied for points. He's second with goals. He's tied for first with power play goals, and he's first with power play points out of all American players.
And since 22-23, did it not say?
Yeah.
That's the part that kind of shocked me, was like, oh, that goes back like a couple years.
Like that, and that's why, like, other play, like we can argue about Sam Bennett and like whether or not he kind of earned his spot there, and he just came off a Conn Smythe, and he, you know what I mean? Like but like the Robertson one just shook my head, because that could be like, that's first line. That's how I viewed that one. That's why I was so shocked. That's not like arguably your grind line. You know what I mean? Like with Team Canada, no one's going to argue about line 1, line 2. You might start to have some debate over line 3, and all your debate happens on line 4. You know what I mean? And same thing with like your first defensive pairing, your second defensive pairing, your third defensive pairing. We start to have some debate. Do you know what I mean? Whether this guy should have been in or that guy. But with the US, it's like, is he not he's not line 1 starting for you? Like he's not out on the ice when the puck drops?
On
like
Jack Eichel's wing?
Yeah, honestly. Like my mind was just blown. And like, I'd love to hear the rationale behind everything, but
this is the same team that scratched the 40 goal scorer in the game against Canada last year to put out a guy who could barely walk.
Yep. Yep. You know what? I thought if anyone was going to be cut, I thought it was going to be Kyle Connor. I was expecting to not see him. But so, yeah, that all makes sense. Gary, what's your thoughts? What was your biggest snub from between the both? What takes the cake? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm curious.
The biggest snub overall, it probably has to be Robertson, but just to be different, I'll go with Sam Bennett. Goes out and wins the Conn Smythe. Does everything. Played in the team last year.
Scored a big goal.
Seems to be no reason to take him out other than maybe Tom Wilson's there, so it's a little bit redundant.
Yeah.
The other snub that we haven't mentioned as much, I guess, would be the Adam Fox one.
I was waiting to get to that too.
If you go back a year ago, he wasn't just on the team last year. He was one of those like top of the tier early announcement guys last year. So he went from like the surefire early announcement guy all the way down to not making the team, which is a bit of a drop.
Yeah.
Considering he's played fairly good this year as well.
Yeah, I almost feel like we could rank our snubs. Because he would be third to me. It would be like first Robertson, second Bennett, third back to the Americans again with Fox. Like I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which year. He won the Norris in 21. Not that long ago.
Like I can't.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a big one. There's a couple of big ones. And I guess like to preface it, I forget who I heard say, I think it might have been Elliot Friedman, say that no matter what happened, good players were going to be left off of these teams. And I understand that. It's still not the ones I thought. It's still not the good players that I thought.
It's interesting. People are arguing over, like, let's say with Team Canada for a second. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, who would you know what I mean? If Sam Bennett and Connor Bedard were to be named on the team tomorrow, who would you take off? And a guy commented in like 10 seconds, like, well, Tom Wilson. Like for Bedard or Bennett. You know what I mean? And it was like, maybe he'll be clutch and maybe he'll prove himself. But Sam Bennett's already proved himself. He's already come up with a clutch goal. He's already played the grind line. He just won a Conn Smythe. So like, I was kind of scratching my head on like, are you... In one breath, we'll talk about Doug Armstrong for a second, because I do agree with most of their choices here, and I would have wanted to have picked goaltenders. By the way, that's another conversation, because I do think the U.S. is stronger than us in goaltending this time around, but you easily could replace any of the three names on there with Blackwood or Wedgwood. And I would still probably feel the same, if that makes sense. It would still be like, we don't have a Carey Price. We don't have a Marty Brodeur. We don't have Patrick Waugh. We don't have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're outright number one. Like, I just don't have that in mind going in. But when he said something to James Duthie about, listen, it was a hard call last night to call those four guys and tell them they're not going to be listed on the team in the morning. And we got up early and called the guys that didn't know yet they were on the team. And it's not so much that anyone played themselves off this team. It's more like some guys have just earned it and they've played themselves on. And then it was like, oh, well, Jordan Binnington's having a rough year. Well, yeah, but we were all in agreement that, you know, in the past, he's proven himself. So she'll show up. And I'm like, okay. But then I could say that about Sam Bennett and you just cut him. So, like everything you just said about Binnington
applies to everybody else too.
Applies to everybody else. Yeah, you don't have an out with that. So then it's like, why isn't it Blackwood or Wedgwood? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the goalies,
Armstrong just didn't want to finish the sentence there saying, but our team sucks. So it's hard to judge him.
He said it a couple of times without saying it. Yeah.
It was funny when, so the day Canada's roster announcement was made, the Blues were playing the Avs, and it was Binnington versus Blackwood after the roster come out. And they'll never admit this, but I told someone, I don't remember who, I said, I think the Avs are going to light them up tonight because, like, you left our goalie off. You're going with Binnington. That's fine. I get it. But I think they kind of had a little pep in their step for Blackwood. And they scored 4 goals in the first 5 minutes.
Dude, they scored 4 goals before St. Louis had a shot.
Yeah, it was they had no shots. It was unbelievable. I was like, okay, I didn't think it was going to be quite like that. But
you might be onto something there, though.
I think there was a little bit of, you know, and I found all of Blackwood's saves. They looked a little angry, you know, because Armstrong's watching this, right? He's in the building watching this this game. So I thought that was kind of interesting. As far as the goalies, because I had a couple thoughts too on the snub thing, but as far as the goalies, I mean, like, Canada went with the old school Canada mentality that's always been there. They went with proven winners with Stanley Cups. And so I get it. Like Blackwood and Wedgwood they're getting a pretty good sample size now of playing well. But I get it. Like, Blackwood never even played his first playoff game until last year. He's only played in 7.
I get that.
So I'm like, at first I'm like, I don't get it. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I can come around on that. And I've got no problem with Darcy Kemper. He could have been on the Four Nations roster too.
Yeah, he could have been. And I feel that with Logan Thompson as well.
Right. So I think they're probably going to go with Binnington for game 1. And if he completely loses it and it's like he looks bad, I think they'll go with one of the other two.
Yep.
And if he continues, but who knows with that, But what I found interesting was Guerin kind of took. I felt like he was more Team Canada in his selections than Team Canada was. At least Canada goes with Celebrini, right? Hard to argue. Third, he's third behind McDavid, McKinnon this year in points. And the way he plays, I just think they couldn't say no. I think that would have been the biggest. I think that would have been more crazy if they'd have left him off than Bedard.
That would have been a way that would have been the biggest snub today as we talk.
And people weren't sure, right? With Bedard, I think there's a bit of like there's the injury, but then he came out and said the injury had nothing to do with it. And to me, that was a bit of a I don't know.
But like, of course it did.
Well, you don't want to get into the conspiracy, but Bedard has turned down. What did he turn down? The World Championship twice. He didn't go. Like I wonder how much that stuff kind of plays into.
I see what you're saying.
But let's take that out for a second, though. I mean, he's been scoring a lot. He's not as like much of a 200-foot player. I mean, I've seen both these guys a couple times now. He's not the 200-foot player that Celebrini is. And the way I think of it is like, if you're gonna put Bedard on this roster, he's not gonna crack the top 6, probably. Based on the way he plays, he's a goal scorer. He's got a lot more speed to his game this year. But it's like let's say you ice the puck on a long shift and your third or fourth line's out there and you had a choice between Celebrini or Bedard that has to defend a big moment in their own end. Who do you feel better about, right? You're going to feel better about having Celebrini in that role and you're going to wonder about Bedard. And I'm like, maybe that's where they boiled it down, right? It's like, what does he bring that there's not 6 or 7 players
that already bring that
and then more with experience. Whereas I think Celebrini, you can put him in a role. If you're talking about role players, like I could see him being on a line with like, Tom Wilson and that just being this crazy, high energy kind of line.
Yeah. Let's see what they do
with Marchand. Right. And then these guys are just so pesky and so hard to play against. I just don't see those kind of options with Bedard. And as far as Sam Bennett, I would agree he's probably the second biggest snub for me because I get the Conn Smythe thing, but I was thinking about that. And when we were talking about the Conn Smythe last year in the playoffs, everybody was like, I remember the discussion was like the Conn Smythe could have gone to him, Marchand, or Bobrovsky. It was like, who's it going to go to? They've all had big roles. Could go to any of them. Okay, I guess it's going to Bennett. Could have went to Marchand. Could have went. And it's like, he did. He's a Conn Smythe winner. You can't take that away from him. But I just don't know if it had as big of a
impact
as maybe, other Conn Smythe winners. And you already mentioned this, Tyson. He was going to be in a bottom 6 role again. Whereas when you look at Robertson, it's like he should have been on the wing with Jack Eichel. So my last thought on that, and I'll stop talking, but is positionally, right? So Robertson's a winger. And like, I think what these guys have to do is say, okay, well, if we have guys go down, we can't just bring guys over. So we better make sure we have a lot of centers. And so I think when you have a guy like Brock Nelson there, yes, I understand he's Nav. I understand that. Vincent Trocheck, okay, not so sure, but he's kind of that veteran sort of guy. but they're veteran centers. And I think in a tournament like this, they'd rather have extra centers on the wings that can be moved to the middle if they need to. And Robertson is a winger. He plays wing. I just think that probably played a big part of it. And that's why Bennett was also a surprise for me, because he is a center. He could have played fourth line center or something like that. But if you're going to have Nick Suzuki there for what he brings, then, if you leave him off the roster, I'm not really sure what they're leaving behind versus what the U.S. is clearly leaving behind.
And the role Bennett plays a little bit with that little bit of sandpaper. Well, you kept Marchand and Wilson.
Right. And the comment that he made about guys playing their way on the roster, there's no one who's done that more than Tom Wilson.
No.
I mean, he's a machine lately. He's he had 6 points in 2 games. He had a Gordie Howe hat trick the day the announcement was made. So I kind of get it. The one also that I'll say for Canada that I was shocked at was Mark Scheifele. He is, I think he's tied for, 7th or 8th in scoring. Mm-hmm. He didn't make Four Nations. He didn't make this. I legit feel bad for him.
I'm kind of I was surprised at Scheifele. But it's also one of those conversations where, if you say you're not going to take Scheifele over Sam Bennett, correct? Let's say in an ideal world, if I put Bedard, Bennett, and Scheifele on the table, and we're taking one of these guys down, and one of them's got to go in, I'm assuming you're going Sam Bennett. We just said he's the biggest snub for Canada.
I think you're right. Based on, if you're talking about role players, then yes.
So, I feel bad for Scheifele. I do feel bad for Scheifele. But when I'm looking at Canada's list, it's okay, so who do you bump for Scheifele?
I totally agree. That's why it's maybe not the biggest snub, but it's tough, man.
I could arguably say Cirelli, very best. But really, that should be Bennett's spot. Not Scheifele's. I'm very...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess it could have been Bo Horvat for me. You could have taken one or the other.
Yeah.
So...
With Scheifele, too, you go back to what you were saying about Bedard and Hockey Canada liking their guys or not. Scheifele's a guy who has gone over and played the World Championships a few times.
Exactly.
If I had to cave on anything, it'd be Cirelli and Horvat, and you call up Bedard and Bennett. And Scheifele still doesn't make it, to be honest. If you had one more, you would. Does that make sense? That's where I'm at with that one. If you were removing 3 or there was 3 injuries, well, then Scheifele are you available. But it's, gosh.
And isn't it wild? Cirelli, I mean, just owes his entire Olympic career to John Cooper.
Yes, he does. Now, let's be real. He is there for a very specific role. He is going to be on the penalty kill, I assume, and he is going to forecheck his guts out. And
I just hope he did it better than he did in Four Nations.
It's funny because the Robertson thing is he's too one-dimensional of a player.
Yeah.
Is kind of what you keep hearing about it. But then when you look at Cirelli, it's he's a one-dimensional player, and that's why we're bringing him.
Right?
The dimension that we want.
And that's what I can't. And I'm in Gary, 2 different GMs, right? But I know exactly what you're saying. No, we can't just have one-dimensional players. Anthony Cirelli. And it's he's good at what he does, but that's all he does. We could talk about the U.S. a little bit more, but I wanted your thoughts real quick on not only Schaefer, but Chychrun.
Schaefer.
You didn't know I was going to say that, so I guess
yeah. Schaefer for me, I think falls under It's more the stereotypical. He's just young and he's just
his time will come.
His time will come. I think exactly. I think that's it. Because like
his dad was saying, if he doesn't make it and gets to spend a month home like a normal 18-year-old, is that the worst thing in the world?
Yeah,
I heard that quote too. Like hard to imagine, like a hockey parent of a kid playing at that level. But I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
But you look at it and it's like, again, who do you take out? I wouldn't have minded. It's different roles, right? Like I wouldn't mind Colton Parayko not being there.
I was going to say, when I look at this blue line, I think Schaefer actually would be like the number 3D on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I like, and I don't know. I mean, Colton Parayko for me hasn't moved the needle in quite a while. And I don't fully understand. Like if you're looking for a guy who's just going to, go out there for in limited minutes compared to the rest of them and not make a big mistake, that's probably going to be fine. So if you're talking about those one-dimensional roles we were talking about,
yeah.
I feel like he's going to have it. A couple years ago, like when St. Louis won, he was a really noticeable defenseman. He's huge, carried the puck all over the place. He drove a lot of offense from the defense, and he just hasn't really been that guy for a few years now. So, I think it's a little bit of if Cirelli is Cooper's guy in terms of, I can just put him out there. I know what I'm going to get. I know what to expect. It's like a comfort thing. I feel like Parayko on defense for Armstrong was like, I know what I'm going to get out of him. So we'll just send him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and part of me gets that. I mean, I'm assuming your number one pair is Makar and Taves, right? And then I was really happy for the second I saw Drew Doughty's name, I was abnormally happy for him that he got the call again.
Man, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he was one of their better defensemen.
Yeah, he's all heart. He'll leave everything out there.
Yeah,
like, no doubt in my mind. Was also equally happy for Thomas Harley. Not gonna lie, when I saw his name pop up, and then I remember like I was getting half like the Hockey Canada, by the way, did a wicked job with that announcement video. Like that was unreal. And then at the end, I remember it was like I was still processing because like you almost stopped counting how many players it was, and you're like, oh, no Bedard, no Bennett, no Chikrin. Like I was just kind of going down the like, oh, they didn't list it. You know what I mean? The goalies weren't so much a surprise for me. Can we talk a little bit about the U.S. and some? We've said a lot about Robertson, and Gary brought up Fox. Cole Caufield, guys.
Yeah,
I thought was pretty obvious. Like not as obvious as Jason Robertson, but I didn't even put him on my bubble. I put him on my probably list, but not my for sure list. Do you know what I mean? I had like my for sure, my probably, and like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well,
he was on my probably list.
It's kind of like we talked about with, okay, maybe he's a goal scorer and you don't want a one-dimensional guy. It's like, well, then how come you pick Clayton Keller, who's also young?
a bit more defensive, but
definitely a bit more defensive. I mean, Clayton Keller for me, is always going to be one of those guys that I'm going to think of as the young guy, even though I think he's like 27 or 28 now. So maybe that's not fair to him. But Caufield for sure. It just seems like, again, it kind of, I guess, falls under the Robertson thing. He's a winger that scores goals. And they said, well, we want more than that. So we're just going to not have them.
But I mean,
I heard the Bill Guerin quote a few weeks ago that was like, if you're not checking, then maybe this team isn't for you, kind of thing, something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he had a quote like back at the beginning of December. He's like, if you're not a heavy checker, then this team's probably not for you.
Yeah.
So at that point, I immediately wipe Caufield off of the list.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's
I mean, you can be a heavy checking team. Look, I tell you maybe I'm wrong on this.
And on the checking, I think he means more like the finish type of checking.
I know exactly what you mean.
I know what you mean.
Even like to have some checking lines in the Olympics, they know it's not a best of 7 series, right? Where like, oh, we can lose the first 2 games, but we're going to grind the crap out of them. You know what I mean? And we'll get game 3, game 4, because we just that doesn't exist here. This is single game elimination. Like it is. There's no redos. So like if you take bad penalties and you're trying to hit and I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm super excited. I guess we'll see. But in the same line as probably Schaefer for Canada, like I wasn't shocked. I just wouldn't have. You know how you have guys like I'm not surprised their names weren't there. I just wouldn't have been super surprised if their names were there. And Lane Hudson. I was kind of.
He's going to go play for the U.S. now, according to his dad.
Like I just kind of, I was like I wouldn't have been surprised to see.
I kind of name. It's like if you go down the list of that stuff, like he'd be in the same category as Schaefer.
Yeah.
And if you had to pick between the two of those guys, you're probably going with Schaefer just for the impact all around that he's had. But I would say he's in, like Gary mentioned earlier, I'd say he's in the your time will come kind of category. You know what I mean?
Now, I do have sorry.
Bill Guerin talks about building a team and stuff as well. And I'm not sure how Lane Hudson and Quinn Hughes on the same team works that great.
Yeah.
It's only so much puck to go around.
We got to wrap up here a little bit, but I do have TSN released a Team Canada Olympics all snub team.
I saw this. It's pretty scary good.
I have the list here. These are the players that didn't make it. And I guess I'm going to put you both on the spot. I will read off this list because I can do this quickly. And I want to know where you think they would place in the Olympics if Canada was allowed to enter a second team. So, Gary, Sam Bennett, Connor Bedard, Wyatt Johnson, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Mark Scheifele, Seth Jarvis, Zach Hyman, John Tavares, Travis Konecki, Morgan Geekie, Robert Thomas, Matt Barzell. On defense, Jacob Chychrun, Evan Bouchard, Mackenzie Weegar, Noah Dobson, Matt Schaefer, Brandon Montour, Darren Radish, Morgan Riley, who, by the way, has 29 points. So, and in goal, Scott Wedgwood, Mackenzie Blackwood. How well would they do? I think they'd get some wins.
Can you imagine? See, they would have that first season Vegas Golden Knights energy.
Yeah.
Where it'd be like the Misfits.
Yep.
And they'd be like, everyone expects us to lose. We have nothing to lose. We're going to go out and upset some of these guys. And they have a good enough team that they could probably catch a team sleeping pretty quick. So
sleeping, man. I'm going to be so bold as to say they would at least take bronze.
I mean, like I say, like
that is a like tandem that could goalie you real quick.
It's not the same. I picture it being like a Team North America. You remember that, the World Cup, where like
Team Rest of Europe.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of imagine that same sort of like once they hit the rounds against the best teams and those guys decided to dig in, yeah, you're probably not going to win. But like really good preliminary round, round robin, and you know, if they might get an upset or two. So yeah, you know, they'd be, I think, wouldn't be surprised that team's fighting for bronze just off of like anger alone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but and goalie tandem. I will give credit where credit's due. They cannot say that those two are doing well because of the team in front of them, because goals against and save percentage doesn't lie. And their save percentage for both of them are great.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like how our goaltending depth only puts 2 goalies on that team.
Yeah.
There's no
everything else is very, very deep, but that's it. Honorable third mention: Marc-Andre Fleury comes out of retirement wearing his Tilly hat and flip flops. Hey guys.
Oh dear. Yeah.
He'd probably go too.
Probably would.
Yeah. He'd have no bones about it. But
yeah. We have a quick word for the other teams that exist in this tournament.
Yeah, I was just gonna say let's I was looking at Sweden today.
Yeah. The Minnesota Wild, Sweden.
Well, listen, Sweden and Finland are no joke. So, a lot of speed, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, especially Team Sweden.
Yep. No, they'll look very, very fast.
The interesting thing with Finland to me is the goaltending. I know Buffalo's on this 10-game win streak that they normally go on once every couple of years, where everyone thinks they're going to be good again before they crash and fail into failure for the next 2 or 3 years. But Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, right, is a Buffalo's goalie. He's probably, what are you getting out of Saros? I mean, I just don't know what has happened to him. He's not the Vezina contender he was. And if he's not, what is Finland's goaltending? I mean, they struggled with that in the Four Nations. And if their goaltending's not good, I mean, they're going to be in some trouble despite the team they have.
I'm just looking up here.
I was also glad to see Joel Kiviranta there. He's another Av. I was super surprised to see that.
On a side note, I've been watching a lot of World Juniors, including games that weren't Canada or the US. I don't usually get time to do that, but if Finland really wanted to, they could have a hard look at Ripanen, because he's looked very good.
Is he drafted? Do you know?
I don't. Why do I think he is?
I don't know.
I think he is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he is, because he played last year too.
I think he's drafted.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking around at the Aho, Turbinen.
Yeah, and what's the deal?
I don't
with
know
Barkov?
who your starting goalie is.
I don't think he's not going to play, right?
No.
So that's a huge loss. They will get a less disoriented Mikko Rantanen this time. I mean, I say this time compared to Four Nations. That trade happened, and then Four Nations happened, and all of a sudden he's playing for Finland, and
they're getting the NHL penalty minute leader, Mikko Rantanen.
Mega good. You know what? Tom Wilson is the answer to Mikko Rantanen.
Who saw that coming?
I was looking at the stats the other day, and I think he's still leading the league in penalty minutes. Because of those 2 crazy, terrible hits he did back-to-back games. Yeah.
Of a quick note, just to talk about Sweden a little bit. Their core D is actually pretty scary. I think they're flying under the radar a little bit with all the US-Canada talk. Rasmus Anderson, Broberg, Brodin, Dahlin, Ekman, Larson, Hedman, Carlson. What are we talking about? But I wanted your opinion, Jay, on no, it's not even an opinion. How happy were you to see that Gabriel Landeskog is going to be playing in the Olympics after all that?
I mean, if I've got a team to root for that's not Canada, it's Sweden for sure.
Yeah, that's just a feel good story all the way around.
Oh yeah, and like he's a big part of. Maybe when we record later this week, we can get into. I can geek out a little bit on this historic season that the boys are having, but
yeah,
he's a big part of it. And I think his leadership will be felt the same way for these guys. Like, I think if we've learned anything, him as a leader is incredibly important. I mean, the switch between, when he left in 22, the black hole they kind of fell into for the next 3 years. And now that it's like they just picked right up. This is like the season I was expecting after 22. We're just having it now. And the big difference is he's back. And I think he's going to bring a lot of that leadership to Sweden too. I mean, he's getting up there now. Like, he's in his early 30s. He's been around a long time. You kind of think of him as the young Avs captain, which he was for so long. But I mean, you're like, if you talk about the elder statesman now on Sweden, it's him, Victor Hedman, right? Like, Carlson's getting to be around for a while now. As kind of like your core leadership group, and it's a pretty good group of leaders. I mean, Victor Hedman is as well respected as anybody in the league, right?
Yeah, so, agreed.
And they got Leo Carlsson, like that's a weapon now. The guy's a machine. Elias Pettersson is there.
Which one?
Yeah. I don't know if it makes a difference.
How would you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They got a couple of guys who sort of like Mika Zibanejad, and he's kind of underperforming this year. The whole Rangers team is. That's a whole other story. They're supposed to be going for it this year. But
Nylander will be there in his white tank top.
Yeah. I was just going to say, your guys there. What do you think the top line is for Sweden? What's your best guess? It's got to be what? Nylander
for sure.
Carlson's a center, isn't he? I think Carlson's a center.
Yep.
So I wonder if you go Carlsson, Nylander, and who do you put on the other side?
Pontus Holmberg.
I wondered if they go with Jesper Bratt, because that'd be a pretty fast, that'd be a pretty deadly fast line to deal with. And then you follow that up with like a Forsberg, Landeskog, Lindholm type of line or something like that. That'd be a pretty hard line to play against.
Well, Kempe's there too, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man. Yeah, they have choices.
Yeah.
Like they'll
give teams a hard time, as they always do.
I think they will.
So, and they've got, and they talk about the goaltending, they've got both the Wild goalies.
Just took the words out of my mouth.
Right. Two of the best.
I just think their defensive pairings, the possibilities there, are actually pretty scary. Right? Like Hedman's just a beast. He just gets stuff done and he's no nonsense. OEL is still underrated in the league. I don't know how he's still underrated for just shutting plays down, no problem. But without taking a penalty, Gary can attest to that. We see a lot of that.
And that's Jonas Brodin's specialty too. I mean, he's a guy that'll get overlooked, but.
And then behind them, I don't know that you can lose with Gustafsson. Like Markstrom's there. So, and he can be clutch. Like, yeah, it could be very interesting. Like, they could goalie somebody too, right? And have a defensive.
I found with the way the season Winnipeg's having and Hellebuck, I don't know if I like the US's goaltending as the favorite. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at these three guys, and I'm like, oof. I mean, that's pretty tough too.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I was watching some Four Nations parts of games and stuff the other day, and I was getting all fired up again. I was trying to imagine what it would look like. I'm like, hey, what would this game be like if there was like 2 feet less? Would it look the same?
Yeah, not more open ice, less ice. Wow. Unreal.
Yeah. Now that you named that second Team Canada roster, I'm wondering if they just like put an I at the end of some of those names and throw an Italian jersey on them. Connor Bedardi.
Man, couldn't Celebrini
and an I.
Celebrini could just be on that team anyway.
Yeah.
Celebrini.
Oh, man.
If you wanted to switch, I guess, but yeah.
Jacob Ciccaroni.
Shaflili.
Veracini.
Italy comes out of nowhere to take the bronze medal in men's hockey.
Wow.
They all have like fake mustaches on.
On that note.
Yeah. Yeah, well...
Arrivederci.
I wish Cameron was here. It's me. It's a Thatcher.
I'm not gonna win. All right, guys.
All right, folks. Well, we'll see you later this week there, boys.
Yeah, we will for sure. Keep your stick on the ice.